Welcome to InfoWars. I'm Owen Schroeder.
And I'm Mark Moreno.
And this is Fighting Climate Change.
Governments are manipulating the weather with lasers.
We're going straight into the heartland of what many liberals are
Responsible for the decline in polar bears and how they...
That cook on your vine, I would see him anywhere.
On today's episode of Fighting Climate Change, we're going straight into the heartland of what many liberals are calling the first victims of their climate change fiasco, Florida. We set up shop on Fort Myers Beach, one of the areas that's supposedly supposed to be affected by climate change in the not-so-distant future. We began asking around to see if anyone knew what was truly going on around here.
The hoax of climate change in the state of Florida.
The hoax of climate change?
Yeah.
I feel like...
So what do you feel about the state of climate, or the hoax of climate change in the state of Florida? You're one of the very few here, man.
After I left, Mark finally found someone who would provide us the information we needed. Before asking him more important questions, we decided to test his intelligence by showing him a series of photographs in regards to climate change.
What does this photograph look like?
Some sort of monkey. Oh, those are Democratic wildfires. That cook on your vine, I would see him anywhere. The new job under the Trump administration.
After passing the test, we finally asked him the most important question regarding the issue of climate change.
What have you seen that suggests climate change in the state of Florida?
Man, not that much, man. It's nice and breezy out here. The water's cold, the food is cold. Yo, feel this. It's nice and cold. Yo, how are you gonna say there's global warming when everything's cold?
That is true.
And that was true. This guy brought up an interesting point held by many, that the earth cannot be warming because objects can still be cold. We had decided to discuss these concerns with what liberals call a scientist. Hi, is this Dr. Sanjay Gupta from CNN?
The one and only.
Hi doctor, I just wanted to know, what is climate change, or rather the hoax of climate change?
No. Climate change is a very real phenomenon. For example, global warming has been a major issue since the 1830s, when innovations in fossil fuel-based technology really started taking off. Society as a whole ignored this up until the 1960s, when many scientists acknowledged its link to an accumulation of greenhouse gases. To try to fix it, federal and international mandates, like the Clean Air Act and the Paris Climate Accords, have been established in the past. More recently, however, these environmental regulations have been rolled back, and the United States has withdrawn from its international climate commitments.
To our viewers out there, what Dr. Gupta has claimed is simply not universally applicable. Many top US officials, such as the current president, Donald Trump, have claimed that the planet is in fact freezing instead of warming. Okay, doctor, what do you say to evidence that suggests that the planet is actually cooling down rather than warming up, as you've suggested?
Think of it this way. Climate is long-term and weather is short.
It was at this point that our producer signaled us to cut off Dr. Gupta after his violent use of misinformation. Enjoy the rest of the nightly broadcast.
On the next episode of Fighting Climate Change, we look into claims that the liberals are the ones responsible for the decline in polar bears and how they plan to use their skin in the inevitable nuclear winter.
That'll be a fun episode, Mark. I'm Owen Schroeder.
And I'm Mark Moreno.
And this has been InfoWars.